Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys still, and the preseason rankings are in full swing, even though rosters are not fully finalized in North America. The one role that is fully confirmed across the board, 10-1 for teams, is the top lane. We know who's going to be there, and there's a lot of familiar faces returning.
Familiar faces and some big checks being written here for these top lane players.
Very big, very big. You know, some players, maybe 4 or 5 of them are probably making the same as Huni, but there are some imports that are coming over in that top lane. And if you were talking 2-3 years ago even, the man at number 10 would be probably in your top 3. But based off of the last 2 years, our boy, the greatest top laner in Western history, I don't quite have the hype for this split.
This is another opportunity right here for our boy Zabutin to say, guys, you're not following my vision here with this roster here. He's done it before to us, and this seems
better than Dokla.
Yeah, this is better than Dokla, I'll give you that, but this seems to be another situation here where I am not entirely convinced on the performance that we'll be getting here. I think so as maybe the best has passed him at this point in time as far as what you have seen from him in his career here and what you're going to be going up against here in North America and what you're going to be dealing with on an individual lane-by-lane basis here. I'm not exactly the most confident in the Immortals top laner.
Payday's coming either way. And then Viper in at number 9. He actually had a really solid 2019, of course, rookie of the split, but all the players ahead of him are looking pretty stacked, especially I'm excited for Kumo making his debut with Evil Geniuses. They did announce he's going to be the starter. You remember he covered for Licorice for a couple of weeks in the summer split, and all he did was completely punk TSM and Team Liquid in back-to-back games.
Love to see that one. This is what you want here from a North American talent, and again, we've talked at certain other points about finding the right opportunities. This feels like one of those ones when you found out about the deal going through for Zeyzal and Svenskeren, as well as Kumo being involved. This is the one that you kind of got excited thinking that this might be the opportunity that he will get to start here in the LCS on that main stage, and this is going to be exciting to watch here. I'm telling you what, this is NA talent coming for you here, and it's going to deliver.
And obviously, it's not that much to go off of based on those few weeks that he did play in the summer split, but he has been dominating the Academy League for almost 2 full years now. And all of a sudden, the domestic top lane talent, you've got Kumo, Viper, we just talked about, Licorice, obviously, Haunser, NA top laners, actually not that bad.
Yeah, we got to be careful before we start feeling good about ourselves in any type of situation.
I mean, it's still more imports than domestic players, which is the theme across the board pretty much. Speaking of, you've got Ruin and Broken Blade. Ruin, listen, at times he looked incredible and would dominate lane, and sometimes he would just have 6 isolated deaths in a game.
Kinda, this number here from 5 to 7 is what I really want to call the highs and the lows here of the top lanes in North America, because out of these performances, you saw a lot of highs, more or less, more so than the highs, I would say, than the lows here, but there certainly were some lows, and you're right, with Ruin to start off, the lows are mighty low when we've seen from these guys in the top side, but we have certainly seen, again, from all 3 of those guys here from 5 to 7, you have seen those top level performances from these top laners.
And Broken Blade, I fully expect to be higher as the split goes on and look more like he did in spring as opposed to summer with this new TSM roster, but he definitely took a bit of a dip in summer. I'm hoping and happy that TSM will be giving him more opportunities and more of a chance.
I want to see that synergy develop with Dardoch in the top side, see what goes on there for TSM.
Yeah, and they better be playing around him more because they didn't know how to do that very well in spring. Huni, the $2.3 million man, we have him in the top lane rankings. Who knows? This guy could still be playing jungle. He could be playing mid lane. We're still not fully sure what he's going to do, but the first 5 to 7 weeks, I'll say 5 weeks of summer, he did not look good. Clutch did not look good. And then all of a sudden they went on their incredible run in the second half of summer all the way through to the group stage at Worlds, and Huni started looking like SKT Huni again.
Yeah, it was exactly what you wanted from Clutch Gaming in that sense of your identity here, really. As your player, your brand type of situation here, you built everything around Huni, and now you've gone all in here with this type of contract with Huni. Yes, you got to keep in mind the money they are getting out from the Vulcan buyout when you are talking about these type of things, but this is an expensive contract coming through here, majorly expensive here, and obviously when you're looking at this type of money and this type of performance that you're going to be getting, I'll tell you what, the performance will never match up to that level of contract payment here for Huni, but that is not what you're paying him strictly the money for in that situation if you are Dignitas.
It does seem a little bit crazy to be shelling out that much money for a player that we have 5th currently on top lane rankings, and he could go up or down. It's hard to say with Huni.
He's 5th in the top lane rankings, but he's number 1 in all of our hearts, and that's got to count for something.
You are paying for an incredible brand and fan base. Everybody loves Huni. How can you not? He's such a lovable character. So
it's Huni, man. Huni, baby.
You got to boost the Dignitas brand as well. So in that sense, it was actually a pretty smart investment, except everyone's very mad at them now for, releasing DeMonte, Cody Sun, and Vulcan. All the promising young NA talent, but they got Huni for a while, and I'm excited to see him. But he is number 5 for now. One spot ahead is Haunter on Golden Guardians, and Haunter and Froggen were the only bright spots for GGS last split, and now Froggen's gone. So Haunter, you might have a tough time in 2020.
When we talked about Golden Guardians last year, Haunter and Froggen certainly are the bright spots and did provide them with winning lanes at times here, and that's what we thought would be their advantage here, is being able to have that strength in Haunter and Froggen. Didn't come to fruition enough times for them here, and I think Haunter's performances, though, do leave you thinking positively on the top side here for Golden Guardians heading into 2020, given that he really did have a bounce back year from what his performance was last with TSM. I think was a year that he would have been a little disappointed with his own individual performance. Definitely bounced back last year.
And the top 3, I think Impact is a guy that nobody should be sleeping on anymore, saying he's a weak link on Team Liquid. I think he's absolutely minimum, at worst, top 3. But the 2 guys ahead of him are the featured players on their teams heading into this split, Licorice and Ssumday. I think you could debate maybe the order of these 2. I think they're definitely that top 2. And Ssumday, imagine having a player not starting in the LCS, and then he comes in and he's number 1 on a ranking like this. If you weren't watching the Academy League last year, which I assume most people were not, he was absolutely obliterating people.
You watch those performances again in the Academy, and you're like, this is not fair to anybody that's going up against him.
We're trying to groom this talent, and you get to go up against
I'm actually
Ssumday.
upset for the other players here, because you're having to go up against this beast that is Ssumday, and the way that he was throwing down this past year in the Academy, he didn't have any respect for anybody. He was saying, nuh-uh, I am the king down here, and the king will be returning to the LCS stage here. Papa Smithy says, no more Academy for you. Step on up here to the main roster with the rest of 100 Thieves.
And obviously it was a difficult decision, choosing between Ssumday or Bang, your 2 huge imports. Better for the team to be going with Ssumday. He's proven himself on the LCS stage in a world where people like Doublelift and other players, coaches, management have said, it's retirement time. You come to NA to just cash that check. Ssumday, if you think this man is washed up, you are absolutely insane and haven't watched any of his games.
Ssumday's not here on the retirement tour, man. He is taking out folks left, right, and center, putting them in body bags here over in North America, doing that work here in the top side. Ssumday is your number 1 top laner in NA.
And he's reunited with Meteos for that jungle top lane synergy from way back in 2018. The future looks decent for 100 Thieves because it's really the past that we're looking at. But hey, we were hyped for the roster coming into 2019 too, and that didn't go so well.
No, but hey, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
And fool us 3 times 100 Thieves, I don't know what to do. Maybe don't stick around for franchising, but Ssumday still number 1 in our hearts and in our rankings for 2020.